Hello, welcome to my channel, Just Being Jewel, and today we are going to be talking about my August TBR. I'm aware that this is being filmed quite late. It is already August 5th, but we're doing it. We're here, so let's roll. First book in my TBR is a holdover from my July TBR, and that is Golden Hand by Garth Nix. And I've actually already read it. I finished it on the 2nd of the month. But this is the 5th book in the Abhorsen series, and it follows some of the characters in the aftermath of what they went through in the third book of the series. And I can't really say a lot without spoiling it, but just know that the Abhorsen series is one of my favorite series. I'm glad that I continued on with it, and there's one more book in the series that I haven't read, so hopefully next month I'll get to that one. Next book on my TBR is Book of Night by Holly Black. This was also on my July TBR, and it is continuing on to my August because I didn't get a chance to get to it. I read Dune in July, and that's a really big book, so I'm a little behind. But I did already start this. I'm already 90 pages into it, so if you need a summary of Book of Night by Holly Black, go watch my July TBR because I talked about it in there. I don't want to say anything too spoilery now that I've actually started reading it. The next book on my TBR is Wrath Goddess Sing by Maya Dean. So I'm actually reading this for Fantasy Book Club, and I don't know a lot about it. The only thing that I haven't read the back, because the last time I read the back of a book for Fantasy Book Club, it was spoilers. It literally told me stuff that happened like a third of the way into the book. I was like, why'd I read the book? I just need to read the back of it. So I have trust issues now. But what I was told in book club is that it is, first of all, that the author is trans, and that it is a Iliad retelling from a trans woman's perspective. I hope I got that correct. I never read the Iliad, never read the Odyssey, so I somehow escaped having to read those in school. So I don't know what I'm going into here. I have heard that it is controversial in the way that it talks about trans people. So I'm reading it with an open mind. I'm reading it I'm going to be reading it from the perspective of knowing that it's written by a trans person. So I guess we'll find out what my take is on it and what my feelings are in my wrap up. I want to give it a fair shot and not let any of the potential controversy around it mar my thoughts on it, because I think that if a book written by a trans person has stuff that is derogatory towards trans people, I think that I should still read it and discuss it with my book club, because I think it's worse to just not read a book by a trans person and not include their perspective and their thoughts on things and just ignore it entirely. I'm really big on discussing things and being open to discussion. So I'm going to read this with an open mind and go into book club and see what I think about it. The next book on my TBR I've had on my shelf for literal years. It has gone through phases of popularity on Bookstagram and BookTube and everything. So this book is not, if you watch any BookTube videos, you will have seen this book before. So I'm not even going to do a long description of what it's about or what it covers. The author is a very popular author, but this book is Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. I'm finally going to join the club and read this. So I love fantasy. I have a feeling that I'm going to enjoy this based on how much people have raved about it and how many people just adored this book that I trust. There's people that I follow and people that I trust their opinion, and they like this book. So I'm probably going to be on the same train. The final book on my August TBR is kind of a book that I'm not super pumped to read, which is terrible. I should never put a book on my TBR if I'm not excited to read it. But it's also a book that once I finish it, I will have immense satisfaction of having finished it. And that is Fairest. It is one of the short stories of the Lunar Chronicles told from the villain's perspective, Levana. And I've been re-listening to the audiobooks of Lunar Chronicles because, fun fact, I cannot read audiobooks for the first time. I have to have read the book physically before I can listen to the audiobook and feel like I can comprehend and understand what's happening. I'm just not an auditory person for consuming books. But I've been re-listening to them, and I really liked them when I first read them. I was a lot younger when I first read them. And after I first read them, I bought this, and I bought Stars Above. And then I never read either of them. So, I finally finished Stars Above a couple months ago. And I'm going to finish Fairest. And then I will have read everything in the Lunar Chronicles series. And I will not have to read any more of them. And I will feel satisfied. And I know, as a person, in the future, I am not going to buy any more short stories, novellas, short story collections, 0.5s of a series, because I don't like them and I don't enjoy them. I'm just going to read the main series. I want something that I can get lost in, that's a thick book that I can really delve into and consume. And things like Fairest and Stars Above and all those 0.5 collections are just not for me. So I'm going to stop doing it. I'm going to stop torturing myself. But this one I had on my shelf, and I am very particular about, if I paid for it, I should really read it. And so I'm going to torture myself. I'm going to do it. I'm going to finish it. Those are all the books I plan to read in August. I think it's doable because I added up all the page counts, and it's like almost 1,400 some pages. And when I broke it down, I only had to read like 48 pages a day to be able to read all these books in the month of August. And 48 pages a day feels doable because some days I don't read any, but then some days I'm just slamming page after page after page. I'm not doing anything but sitting on my couch and reading. So I'm hoping that I'll have a few weekend days where I'm just a lazy bum and I read like crazy, that counterbalance those days that I am working a lot or I just don't pick up a book. So we'll see. At the bare minimum, I'm going to finish I've Gotta Sing because I have to for book club, and that's how I'm going to make friends in the Tampa area. But thank you for watching. I appreciate if you got this far. You don't have to like and subscribe. I'm a proponent of free will. But thank you for being here, and have a nice day. Cat break. Yeah, buddy. For some reason, every time I start filming, that's when my cat thinks it's time to just lose his shit. Obi, are you done yet?